Hundreds of newspapers across the country today are banding together, responding to President Trump's frequent attacks on the press. The Union Tribune participated with an editorial. 10 News anchor Brian Schlonsky looks at how media organizations are trying to build trust through transparency.
Inside the UT's opinion section today, this full-page editorial. The message is clear as the headline. How do we restore faith in journalism?
We are real journalists doing real work, and we're going to hold ourselves accountable.
Matthew Hall is the editor and opinion director for the Union Tribune, our local paper, joining roughly 350 others across the country, responding to President Trump's war of words with news organizations.
When he uses such dangerous rhetoric as enemy of the people, fake news, dangerous and sick, that escalates it.
Hall says the hundreds of papers who wrote these editorials today all had different reasons for writing them. All had different audiences, too. Some directed messages straight at the president, others at Congress. The UT chose to address our San Diego community.
I think for far too long, journalists have not done a good job of explaining what we do on a daily basis. So that was a big part of this editorial for us.
The president responding on Twitter today, saying, quote, "There is nothing that I would want more for our country than true freedom of the press. The fact is, the press is free to write and say anything it wants, but much of what it says is fake news pushing a political agenda."
We are in a situation where there is distrust between journalists and the public, and some of it is part to blame on the news organizations.
Lynn Walsh is the project manager for the Trusting News Project. She's worked as a journalist herself and says her nonprofit works with news organizations to be more transparent.
It's hard to distinguish, right, between what is actual news, information, fact versus what is opinion or someone giving an analysis.
Walsh says news outlets need to be better about explaining our decisions. She says while the Trusting News Project supports the papers speaking out today, she says it's on the press and the consumer to do better about differentiating between what's fact and opinion.
Local news organizations do a lot better job of this, but if you are watching CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, it's almost impossible to tell.
Brian Schlonsky, 10 News.